Welcome to everybody who has been watching NBC News' coverage of Decision 2024. Welcome into Decision 2024, the stakes for Colorado. An interesting night in Colorado politics as voters statewide appeared to have strongly rejected a measure to change the way Colorado's elections work, to open primaries and ranked choice voting. Colorado's closest congressional race is too close to call, and interesting things are happening in Denver tonight, where one sales tax measure appears to pass and another is headed for failure at the moment. There's a lot for us to discuss this evening.
Yeah, never say that Colorado just goes one way, that's for certain. We knew that Vice President Harris would probably win Colorado's electoral votes. That happened, but there's other things that are very much up in the air.
Welcome into 9 News at 10. Within the last half an hour on our coverage on 9 News Plus and KTVD, we talked to Democratic Governor Jared Polis about the potential for a second Donald Trump term. Let's listen to that.
Obviously, if he prevails, we'll have another 2 months to make sure that we can protect the rights of Coloradans where we can. I think what people are watching now, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Kamala Harris needs all three. Donald Trump just needs one of those, assuming that he holds Georgia and North Carolina. So obviously, it's still possible Kamala Harris could win all three of those. They're going to be very close, but she does need the trifecta, it looks like, unless she can pull off an upset in one of the other states.
Colorado became a centerpiece of Donald Trump's campaign, especially down the last 3 months as he focused on Aurora, Colorado, with false claims that that city of 400,000 people had been taken over by a Venezuelan gang, that it had been conquered and needed to be liberated. He came to campaign in Aurora. He has promised that his mass deportation of more than 20 million people in this country illegally is going to begin in Colorado, an effort that he says will be led by local police and the National Guard and the U.S. military, coming to Colorado first.
And we got some reaction, right, from Congressman Jason Crow regarding that tonight after he has declared victory as well.
Well, first of all, I do believe that Vice President Harris is going to win, and she will be the next president of the United States, and she will respect the rule of law. She will move forward comprehensive bipartisan immigration reform. But in your scenario here, I will never waver. I will never stop defending the community that I represent. I will never stop defending Coloradans, and I will not allow people to abuse our families. I will not allow people to separate our families, not on my watch.
It's a real question if Trump is reelected and he follows through on his word to do this mass deportation. Who specifically will be coming into Aurora, Colorado to do it? Local police are barred by state law from cooperating with immigration officials. The Colorado National Guard, under the direction of a Democratic governor, is certainly not going to participate in a mass deportation by Trump unless he were to federalize the Guard under the Insurrection Act. At that point, he's left with the U.S. military, and it's a scenario which nobody has really seen in their lifetime. So something that we'll continue to ask questions about.
How that would work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But immigration clearly is driving the vote across the country and here in Colorado, too, when we talk about Congressional District 8.
Yep, it was one of the key issues, along with crime and the economy, in the 8th Congressional District, where Democratic Representative Yadira Caraveo currently holds a 2-point lead over Republican challenger Gabe Evans, 50 to 48%, with 66% of the vote in. It would certainly appear that at least the Caraveo camp does not think that there's going to be a call in this race tonight, because our Angeline McCall is reporting at her watch party that Caraveo is not going to appear. So that would suggest that they're preparing for an overnight situation. That was the same thing that happened in this race 2 years ago, the first year for District 8. Let's go to Janelle Finch, who is at the Evans camp. And I'm curious, one, has the man shown up? And two, what are they saying about how they view the state of this race?
Yes, absolutely. Gabe Evans has been here actually for several hours, just shaking hands and taking in the night. So we haven't had a chance to speak with him directly yet, but it is clear that he is confident that he will take this seat from Democratic incumbent Dr. Yadira Caraveo. We did also get a chance to hear, though, from House of Representatives District 48 elect Republican Carlos Barron, who is taking over that spot from Evans as he looks to a possible seat in Congress. But again, he's going to have to first get through this evening in Colorado's closest congressional race. Evans made it onto the ballot with a landslide voting in the primary election, getting the support of nearly 80% of voters. He was endorsed by former President Donald Trump, but has since separated himself from some of Trump's policy proposals like mass deportation. Though the two do align on leaving abortion access to the states and not implementing a federal ban. The Republican nominee says his Democratic challenger and incumbent Caraveo is responsible for problems with immigration, crime, and fentanyl. Evans said he would implement more border security, lower costs of living, and promote conservative values if elected into Congress. Now, Caraveo won this seat in 2022 by a margin of less than 1%. It sounds like she's up from that this time around, but Republicans are crediting that loss in 2020 to the Libertarian candidate that was still in the race at the time. Evans did say that he was going to support certain policies, Libertarian policies, to get that candidate to drop out. That he did. So now we're here just kind of waiting to see what happens next. I'm sure, though, that when we talk to Evans tonight, he will have some words to say on how he's the only one at a party this evening, but we'll have to see.
Well, he's thanking his supporters, making the rounds. He's not declaring victory, that's for certain. Yep. He's waiting for that vote to come in. Thank you, Janelle. On the other side, we talked about Angeline McCall reported that Yadira Caraveo was not going to come by the watch party tonight. She knows how close this is. Angeline, what is the sense that you're feeling right now? They assume they're probably not going to find out anything tonight.
No, we received a statement from the campaign saying that it's too close to call, which is why she didn't show up. Also saying that they're going to monitor votes and that they're still optimistic. But here at this watch party, where there were also other campaigns for Adams County Democrats, Yadira Caraveo was not here. And in fact, the only real words we heard about her were from Attorney General Phil Weiser. And he said, we have your back, Caraveo. Also stating, for instance, that, she has support from senators across the aisle, but not much other than that. But going into the night, right, we're going to be watching this race very closely into the morning. I want to talk a little bit about what we saw back in 2022. This is a very split district, Colorado District 8. There's just a sliver of Larimer County, and then we have Adams County as well as Weld County. And so we know that the last time around, the Republican candidate really took Weld County and Adams County, what carried Caraveo into victory. So we'll see here what happens overnight, and of course we'll be watching it closely as well.
All right, Angeline McCall, thank you very much. The backers of Colorado's open primary and ranked choice proposition 131 on your ballot have now conceded. It is down 12 percentage points, and they acknowledge that it will fail tonight. This was the measure that was backed by former DaVita CEO Kent Thiry with his own personal fortune, millions of dollars worth, the backing of business groups, the backing of the oil and gas giant Chevron. It would have done away with party primaries in Colorado, put all candidates into an open primary, which 4 folks would come out to compete in a general headed into ranked choice voting. Let's bring in Kelly Rinke, who's been covering this tonight. And Kelly, you're there at the state capitol, where things would have changed considerably if you no longer had folks coming out of party primaries into safe red and blue seats, and instead big business had opened up a lane for very well-funded centrists to come into the legislature.
Yeah, Kyle, like you had mentioned, proponents of Prop 131 have greatly outspent opponents of this proposition, but obviously opposition groups are very happy with the way that things turned out at the polls. I just got a statement not too long ago from one of those groups, Common Cause, and it reads in part, "We need to be working to get dark money out of politics, not strengthening its influence by trying to overhaul an election system that isn't broken." This was bankrolled by the former CEO of DaVita, Kent Thiry, and he had pumped in so much money into this proposition, and even putting in some last-minute funding into Prop 131, which seemed to suggest that they thought that this was going to be closer than they thought. But like you guys mentioned, it was a 12% margin. So with Prop 131 voting no, it means that the way that we conduct elections here in Colorado is going to stay the same. If it had gone the other way, it would have meant that probably that the influence of those far left and, the progressives and the far right in Colorado politics, their influence would have been decreased, and it would have paved the way for more of those well-funded, wealthy moderates to be elected. But then again, it seemed like voters were really reading closely to Prop 131, and it didn't matter how much money was pumped into this because they voted no.
All right, thank you, Kelly. We know that if it had passed, the legislature still would have had to do a lot of work to decide how they implement it. But now it's gone down, and we're probably going to see it again in some form.
Yeah, I mean, the folks who pushed it didn't run out of money. So, I mean, unless they want to do something else with their money. Kelly Rinke, thank you very much. Kelly out in the weather tonight.
Yeah, she is. We have a lot more election coverage to come, but first we also want to talk about something that affects all of us right now, a snowstorm. It's causing some travel issues. It's going to cause more problems tomorrow. They've had problems at I-70 at Floyd Hill, closed down for a while. They've got a lot of accident alert around town in the metro area. Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Kathy Saban for a look at our forecast.
Kim, the fall storm has arrived. Denver now under a winter weather advisory for 3 to 6 inches of snow tonight and Wednesday. We're calling Wednesday a winter weather impact day simply because of the accumulating snow on the ground, the weather you'll wake up to tomorrow, the snow, the ice, the blowing snow. We're 31 degrees currently in Denver, and the snow will continue overnight. Heaviest west and south, where winter weather and travel advisories extend from Castle Rock out to Lyman for up to 10 inches of snow. That's right, Denver under a winter weather advisory for 3 to 6 inches of snow. Much more on the timing and impact and the weather you wake up to coming up.